What up, you guys? So I wanted to do I really just kind of want to open up to you guys, just talk to y'all outside of the gym. I know you guys see me in the gym all the time, but I promise I don't live there. All right, so I kind of just want to open up and just tell you guys a little bit about like kind of what I've been through the past few years and maybe someone can relate to it. Maybe someone's going through it now. Maybe you can offer me some feedback. I love feedback, you guys. I respond to all of the comments. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I've been hurt before. I've been hurt by a lot of people, as I'm sure we all have, right? Um, it's crazy because sometimes I feel like I was late to the party of, of understanding how some people are. And see, I've gotten to a point on my journey and healing that I recognize that it's just some people, right? It's not all people. And I don't want you guys to continue with this video thinking that I'm thinking this is all people because it's not all people. And I try my best to keep a very positive mindset. Um, I've been hurt before, and it's not something that I really like to talk about because I don't want to dwell in the past. I've spent a lot of my time dwelling in the past, and I've finally gotten to a point where I can let a lot of things go and move forward, forgive, and just focus on me. But I recognize that there are people who may be experiencing what I've experienced. I've dealt with, I'll say these past few years, and I know it's been happening even in my 20s. As I reflect, it happened before then, but it really wasn't until my 30s, until I turned 30, where I feel like I really started to experience hurt from people. And these aren't my family members. These are, friends that I had who I thought were my friends. A lot of times, I'll just speak for myself. I'm not even going to generalize it. I was not comfortable with who I was. I was very insecure in my younger years. In my younger years, like I'm so old. I was very insecure. I was very codependent. I needed friends. There was a point where I just needed friends. I needed to be around people. I needed to feel validated. I needed to feel like people liked me. And I spent most of my adult life feeling that way. And with that, feeling like you need people to like you, I ended up choosing to be friends with people who weren't necessarily genuine, who, just wanted to see the best for me, who wanted to support me, who wanted to just be there for me. I didn't experience that. And the people who were closest to me at the time, they made me feel like they were my friends. And maybe that's just what I wanted to see. I think sometimes we want to see things that aren't there. And, as I reflect, the signs were there way before we argued and got into fights, right? The signs were there. I just always chose to ignore them. I always chose to give people the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to see what I wanted to see. And as I started becoming an entrepreneur, as I started focusing on me and focusing on my dreams and my goals and things, a lot of the people that I used to hang out with, who I called my friends, they kind of fell off. I started to see people for who they really were. You know, it's all fun and games until you need someone there. And, you're always there for that person, but when you need someone there for you, they're not there. When you're always supporting them in whatever endeavors that they have, whatever ideas they have, I was like front and center, like just rooting them on, like, you can do it, you got this, girl, you got this. And then when I start my stuff, it's crickets. No one's cheering for me. No one's, supporting me. And, and we'll get into like the solutions and the conclusions and things later. I'm just, just reflecting on what happened. And, that hurt. It really hurt to be what you would consider a good friend to someone, and then when you need that from them, they're not that. And when I tried to like talk to people about it, and try to come to some resolution and express how I feel, and it was never in a derogatory yelling. I'm not a yeller. I used to be a very long time ago, but I'm not a yeller. I like to just talk calmly. And, it was always deflected. It was always, well, you did this, and I did this because of this, and it's really your fault. It was never any accountability for how they made me feel. It was never that. It was always deflection. It was always trying to make me feel like I'm crazy. It was always trying to make me feel like my feelings aren't valid. And all of that hurt. It hurt. It hurts. It hurt because it's like, how can you be so genuine to someone and you really care for them? You don't want anything out of them. Like, you don't want anything from them. You don't want money. You don't want their resources. You don't want connections. Like, there's nothing that you want from that person except for the same love and energy that you give them to be reciprocated back to you. And, like I said, there were plenty of instances where if I was outside of my bubble, I could have seen it, way before it got to that point. When you call them and they don't answer, they don't call you back. Okay? But when they call you, you answer, or you call them right back, right? If they have a problem, you listen, but when you have a problem, they change it to them, right? So the signs are always there. I just never wanted to see it. I always wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt. I was very naive. I was very naive. And I can admit it. I might still be, right? I might still be. But yeah, I've been hurt, and I've gone to counseling. I've, tried to get my counselor's perspective on things and try to see things from other people's point of views, because sometimes you only see it from your side, because you're you. So it's hard to step outside of you and see it from someone else's point of view. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned in all of that was that when you give too much of your energy to other people, when you need that external validation, when you need people to make you feel good, when you need people to support you, when you just are a codependent person, you no longer have your power. And I think that a lot of and you guys, when I say I was hurt, I was really hurt. Like, I was hurting. Like, I was crying. I was, I guess you could say, depressed. Like, I was never, diagnosed with depression, but I was hurt. I was really hurt. I did a lot of crying, a lot of living in those moments and reflecting, and I felt trapped in the hurt. Like, I couldn't really move forward. I had so much anger, so much frustration built up. It was like, I just wanted to just yell and scream. And like, I was really hurt, you guys. And this was years ago, but I just want to let you know I was really hurt. And one thing that I can say is never, ever, ever stop focusing on you. Never stop focusing on you. When you stop focusing on you and you start focusing on other people and other things outside of you, that's when you become the most vulnerable to being hurt. And I didn't know that back then. Life is just a big lesson of just learning things. And I didn't know that back then. I didn't really have anything. Um, I didn't really have any understanding of myself. I didn't really know myself at that time. I didn't know what things triggered me. I never really did any of the self-reflecting, and I didn't start any of that until after I literally lost all of my friends. And it's not like I had a long list of friends, you guys. It's not like I had 20 people that I could call and hang out with. It was never, I had a very short list of friends. Very, very, very short list of friends, okay? I don't even think I had 5. Like, just to be honest. I don't even think I had 5 friends. Okay, so when I say all of my friends, just understand that it was really only a few. But the point I'm making is I didn't know who I was. And I didn't know anything about myself, honestly. I just lived in codependency of other people. And, why did I live in codependency of other people? Probably because I felt alone growing up. My mom always worked. I just didn't really I never came from a big family. It was just me, my mom, my brother, and my grandma. I just, I didn't have all that. I didn't have aunties and cousins. I didn't have any of that. So, that probably had a lot to do with it. But anyways, it wasn't until those relationships ended where I started to focus on me. I started to focus on what made me happy. I started to focus on what made me sad. Like, just trying to learn who I was, trying to understand where did I go wrong in those friendships. And what the biggest thing that I can say is I gave too much to the wrong people. And that doesn't even necessarily mean finances. That means energy. That means attention. It hurts when you're giving so much to somebody and they don't give it back. And no, you should never give something to someone with the intention of wanting it back, right? I had to learn that I had to accept people for who they are, not who I wanted them to be. And I think that was one of the hardest lessons that I learned. I can't expect me in other people, right? Because everyone is their own unique person and everyone sees things from a different perspective. And again, at that time, I didn't really understand any of that, but I understand it now. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's not hard to see that, it hurts. People can really hurt you if you let your guard down, if you don't choose to only allow people in your life who are genuine. I think that a lot of people don't take time to find themselves. They don't take time to heal themselves, so that anger and that resentment that they have in their heart, they spew onto other people. And that's why I talk to you guys so much about mental health and fixing yourself, healing yourself, because once you do that, you can only spread love. You can only spread kindness. And that's because you're happy within. And like I said, I didn't know any of this years ago. Like, I didn't know any of this years ago. Honestly, I don't even think it really clicked. Maybe I would say the last year and a half, it clicked. Like, I just woke up one day and it just clicked. I was able to forgive. I was able to let go. When you hold on to hurt, you guys, it wears at you. It tears you down. It really does. And a lot of times, people don't take the time to heal. A lot of times, people just jump from one friendship to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And there's never a period where they just take time out to just heal from the hurt. And it's hard to heal. It's hard to heal. And the easier route is to just bounce from one friendship to the next, to the next, to the next, because then you're taking your mind off of what's hurting you. But when you take time to heal, when you take time to understand why you even allowed and tolerated the disrespect, why did you even allow and tolerate the inconsistencies, you learn a lot about yourself. And I had to look at myself in the mirror and reflect and understand that I did it to myself. I hurt myself, and that's a tough pill to swallow too, when you have to confront yourself and understand that you hurt you. Not always, like if someone is inflicting physical pain or anything like that, that's different. But I'm talking about in my own situations when it came to friendships, I hurt myself because I continued to hang out and give energy to people who were not reciprocating it back to me. And I had to learn that if someone's not treating you how you want to be treated, how you deserve to be treated, then you shouldn't hang around and wait for them to change. You can't change people. You can only change you. And if people don't want to change, they're not going to. It doesn't matter how much you love them. It doesn't matter how much you support them. It doesn't matter how genuine you are to them. It doesn't matter how much you can teach them. It doesn't matter how much you can give them. You guys, you cannot change somebody. You cannot change somebody. And you continuously trying to, you are taking that energy that you could be giving yourself and giving it to someone who doesn't appreciate it. And why continue to be in a space where you're not appreciated? That does not feel good. It hurts. So when I say that I hurt myself, it's because I hurt myself. I continue to pour into people who were not pouring into me, right? I was hurting myself. And, sometimes in the midst of trying to heal, it was, well, how can they just move on while I'm just over here hurt, right? How can they have a good day when they just destroyed mine, right? How can they be happy while I'm over here sad, right? And I learned through healing that it's not that they can't live without you. It's that you can't live without you. You've given so much to somebody that you lost yourself. All of those times that you accepted inconsistencies, all of the times that you accepted disrespect, all of the times that you accepted the bare minimum, you lost yourself each and every time. So when you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, well, how is it that they can live without me and I'm just such a great person? It's because you can't live without you. And that whole time that you were friends with that person, you were living without you. You weren't being true to you. And healing is hard. And that's why when I talk about weight loss and getting into the best shape of your life and trying to keep the weight off, it all starts within before it ever comes to the outside. I had tried to lose weight for damn near a decade before I finally got to this point where I was able to keep it off. And that's because I worked on me. And that's because I poured into me. Stop pouring into other people who are not pouring into you. Stop tolerating disrespect. Stop tolerating people and allowing people to treat you like you don't matter, because you do matter. But in the midst of you continuing to deal with people who are treating you like that, it is wearing and tearing you down. And a lot of times we don't even realize it, you guys. You don't even realize it's going on. But over time, those relationships are changing you. And, one thing that I can attest to is when you start focusing on you and you stop giving your energy and attention to everyone outside of you, those people who hurt you, they always come back. They always come back in some way, shape, or form. They always try to get back in with you. And it might be tempting to try again, right? Maybe this time is going to be different. Maybe they change too, right? But one thing that I can tell you is it takes a lot of work to heal. It takes a lot of work to get back to who you were before that relationship. You never really get back to it because you end up growing from that and you become an even better version of yourself than when you were with that person that you were friends with. But one thing that I can tell you is when that person comes back, because they always come back, just know that most of the time there's not going to be a change. Unless they really healed themselves, like how you took time out of your day, out of your week, out of your month, unless they took that same time to fix what was wrong with them, it's not going to change. And, I try to be positive, but you also have to be realistic. And like I said, people only change when they want to change. And you can't make someone change, okay? And most people don't change. Like I said, most people don't take the time to heal. Most people don't take the time to work on themselves. Most people don't take that time because it's really, really, really hard. It's really hard. And something else I can tell you too, don't feel like healing is a straight and narrow path. You're going to have days where you feel really good, and you're going to have days where you feel really bad. It could be all within one day. You could be feeling super positive and vibrant and, just ready to take on the world, and then a couple of hours later, you're feeling down and you're reminiscing on the good times that you guys had and, the funny things that you guys did or talked about, whatever. That's healing. And there's no time frame on it either, you guys. I don't want you to, even if you just became friends with someone and it was for 30 days, don't feel like you're not allowed to feel hurt because it was, in your mind, only 30 days. It's still a loss. You're still grieving the end of that friendship. So don't put a time limit on it. Don't get down on yourself if 2 months have gone by and you still feel hurt from conversations that you had with that person or how that person made you feel. That's healing. That's healing. Okay? There's no time frame. There's no time limit. It's when you're ready. And, I spent a long time, several years, healing from friendships that I thought were genuine at the time but weren't. And that's why I can say, as the person that I am now, I know that not everybody is like that. Now have I met them? No. But I do believe that when the universe sees fit, I will be blessed with people who know how to pour into me like I know how to pour into them, who know how to support me like I know how to support them, who know how to not have negative, toxic spirits on them, right? Who know how to be around people who are doing better than them, right? I've learned that I have to see people for who they are, not who I want them to be, not who I think that they can be, right? Sometimes we see the potential in people and, that's great. That's the God in you. God sees the good in you, right? But you also have to see people for who they are today, not who they'll be 5 years from now, not who they'll be 10 years from now. You have to see them how they are today. And how do you know when it's time to let go of a friendship? That took me a long time to learn. If you get around a person and let's say you're feeling really good, you're feeling positive, you're feeling energized, you're just feeling great, right? Your energy's great, you're vibrating high, you feel amazing. And let's say after talking to this person, texting this person, maybe you're FaceTiming this person, after you end that conversation, how do you feel? Do you still feel energized? Do you still feel happy? Do you still feel positive? If the answer is no, if you start to feel frustrated, if you start to feel sad, if you start to feel invaluable, if you start to feel unworthy, that's the person you need to let go. Because they're not pouring into you. Someone who's pouring into you isn't going to leave you feeling sad, right? Someone who is genuine isn't going to leave you feeling irrelevant. Someone who really wants the best for you isn't going to have you feeling confused. People have you feeling confused because most of the time they want something out of you. And it might not always be money. It could be your energy. It could be your connections. It could be anything. It could be anything. Like, it could really be anything. And most of the time, I will say most of the time with this, most of the time, it's something that you have in you that they don't have in themselves. And you'll know. You'll know whether or not it's a genuine friendship based off of how do you feel when you're not with that person. Like I said, if you're feeling sad or if you're feeling defeated, but you were feeling good earlier, those are the people who aren't meant to be in your life. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you need to kick them to the curb because that's only something that you can do for yourself when the time is right and when you're ready to do that. But I do want you to understand that, again, people who are for you, people who love you, people who only want the best for you are going to always pour into you. They're not going to take and not replenish, okay? And I want you to be weary of that when you're giving people your attention and your time and your resources and your energy. And, I didn't know all of that before, but I know that now. And sometimes when people see that they're not going to be able to get anything out of you, whatever it was that they wanted, they'll manipulate it, they'll gaslight it, they'll make you feel like it's something you did, but it wasn't you, okay? And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but, some people are just like that. And I think a lot of times people who are like that, they are going through something that's probably way worse than what they told you. But that has nothing to do with you. And I don't want you to feel less than because of how someone is trying to make you feel. Okay? You are amazing. You deserve to be respected and you deserve genuine love. You deserve that and you should demand that. And if someone isn't treating you like how you deserve to be treated, then let them go. I encourage you to consider letting them go. Okay? But yes, you guys, I have been hurt, but I'm telling you, on the other side of that hurt was, a whole new beginning. I learned so much about myself on my journey. I really got to a point where I'm solely dependent on myself to fuel myself up, to focus on myself, right? And again, it's a hard journey to go on. But I promise you, on the other side of that is beautiful and amazing things. Okay, so, being hurt happens to all of us at some point. It's just a matter of what do you What are you going to do with that hurt? Are you going to continue to sulk in it and continue to hold grudges, continue to let it weigh you down? Or are you going to channel that hurt into healing yourself, focusing on you, pouring into you again, loving yourself, and learning from those relationships? I believe that every encounter that every encounter, it's there to teach us something. It's never regret a relationship. Never regret a friendship. Because you came into that person's life for a reason, and they came into your life for a reason. Okay? It wasn't a coincidence. And, there was something to learn from that that's going to make you a better person. So, don't, I want you to heal. Take your time with it. Don't put a timeline on it. There's no timelines to healing, okay? And don't try to make yourself feel bad because you think that you should be over a situation in whatever time frame that you set and you're still on it. There's nothing wrong with that. That means you're healing, okay? And eventually one day you're going to get over it and you're going to reflect. And if anything, one thing that I can say for myself was when I finally got to that point where I healed and learned, I looked back at situations and I was just kind of amazed at what I put up with, what I tolerated, So I hope that helps anyone who's going through something or dealing with, maybe it's, just a new chapter in your life. A lot of times people are here for seasons, and most people that you meet aren't going to be with you till the day you die. Like I said, people are brought into our life to teach us something. So learn that lesson, whatever that lesson was. Learn that lesson. Learn about you in that process. What made you stick around for as long as you stuck around? What were you lacking? What did you feel like you were getting from that person? Because most of the time, it was something that we felt we were, how do I put this? It's something we had a void. And that person at the time was filling that void, whatever it was. So, think about that. And, there's nothing wrong with thinking about the good times that you had, but just know that every relationship, every friendship, most of the time is going to come to an end. And heal from it. Don't carry that weight with you. Don't hold those grudges. Don't take that pain out on other people. Don't do that. Just focus on you. Focus on making yourself feel better. Focus on learning and focus on being a better person so that the next friendship that you have, you can be a good person to that person, not someone who's carrying the baggage from something in the past. Okay? I hope that helps. Thank y'all so much for watching. Leave comments down below. What kind of things have helped you guys heal from friendships that have ended? And it's not fun when friendships end. It hurts. It hurts. But it's not going to hurt forever. All right? I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.